Hello, Vortex. So, I did stand-up comedy once again. In case you're not familiar with this channel, we are a stand-up comic as well as a restaurant worker, as well as a failure. Well, that kind of goes without saying. When you say stand-up comic, you say restaurant worker, that implies failure. Yeah. True. I was thinking tonight, well, I probably should have chosen suicide, but instead, I do open mics, and I know that other comics can relate to that. Yeah, I know that other artists can relate to that. I'm sure musicians really feel that. You know, somebody called me a musician the other night and I corrected him. I said I'm not a musician. I just take these keys and I bang on them. I could call myself a comedian because I'm funny in different versions of funny. Like ha 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 funny, or huh funny, or wow that's funny. You think you're funny? That's funny. But if you don't understand the art form, I really don't care about your opinion. Cause you don't know how hard this is. Not trying to play victim or make it seem that I didn't choose this. I mean, in certain regards I didn't, but in other regards I totally fucking did. I was trying not to swear tonight, but you know, we always mess that one up. But we swore a lot less. It ain't really about my priest. That's more about me just wanting to do the exact opposite of what everybody else is doing, because it's like people swear for no reason. They talk about sex because it's in, you know. It's not really transgressive or anything. It's just, it's like people think that's what gets a laugh. And they're right, it does. I mean, that's why, like, if I talk about sex and I say the complete opposite thing about it, people still find it funny because it's like, well, it's a perspective that they're not used to. You know, somebody that's like asexual and, you know, talking about how sex is like, you know, not all it's cracked up to be, but and I'm not trying to be different or anything, but it is different. Like, most people want sex. And if they don't want sex because they want to feel good, they want sex because they want to be in love with somebody, or they want to procreate, you know? We don't want any of that shit. I don't want to feel good. Fuck that. Making art makes me feel good. You know? Doing stuff that matters, that makes me feel good. People that seek pleasure from coming, I I don't know. I just feel sorry for everybody. I really do. I mean, I told Ronnit I really need to talk about that. She said, so you're going to be the opposite of me. Yes, precisely. She's from New York. Okay, she's like an old Jewish woman from New York. When she talks about her vagina, it's not because she's trying to win everybody over, or like she's not pandering. You know, it's just like what she wants to talk about. And it is ridiculous, and nobody wants to hear about it. But I mean, I think that's why she finds it funny, is that she makes everybody uncomfortable. Except me, because I'm just fucking used to that shit. But she always talks to people in the audience and asks them questions in relation to her. And then she'll, like, accuse people of, like, wanting to sleep with her and all that. Which is just so funny. I mean, but I will say, like, she ended up getting laid that way. Like, she met some dude at kegs too, and they hooked up. So, I don't mean to be telling her personal business, but, I mean, she'll tell her personal business, so I don't think she minds so much. But she goes, I know that you think it's a sin, and I know that you don't agree, but I have needs. I said, there's no point in me, like, reading you part of the scripture. There's no point. Like, you're gonna do what you want to do. And it's not my place to tell anybody how to live their life. And she's at the point now where, like, the chances of her getting pregnant are slim to none, because she's, like, 53 years old. But she had sex with some white dude that was, like, half her age. And she showed me the picture of him, and I was like, you know, he's actually pretty hot. So, you know, you did good. She is really good at hooking up with younger men. Younger men want a taste of that Holy Land. Not so holy, though. You know, I was thinking about how pretty much... Ooh. It sucks, dude. It sucks. Did y'all see the blue lights? Pretty sure they're searching somebody's car. I feel sorry for them. Cops should not have that authority. I don't give a shit what anybody says. People that are against drugs are shitheads. Like I've said before, time for another rant! Like I've said, I'm gonna try to keep this very brief. Like I've said before, turn these lights off for a second. As long as psychiatrists can do whatever they want to do, as long as psychiatrists still have a job, and as long as the Apple Store is up and running, and people get free Wi-Fi at a Wendy's. Okay, I used to work at a Wendy's, in case you're not familiar with my former channel. If you want proof of that, it's one of the channels that's featured. It's one of my old channels. Aimless. That was when I first started doing YouTube, when I worked at Wendy's. Well, yeah, they have free Wi-Fi. As long as there's free Wi-Fi, and as long as you can get medication that makes you kill yourself, and if you don't kill yourself and you try to get off the medication, you're just going to withdraw really bad, worse than heroin, okay? That's illegal. Or that's legal. That's legal. For medication to be prescribed to people that are having a hard time. So psychiatrists, typical pieces of shit that they are, with no conscience whatsoever, they can just write you a prescription to something that's going to make you have an even harder time. Now, this is society's fault because they don't do their research and, well, Amy, here's the thing. Like you have mentioned before, you must be a full-blown schizophrenic to see all of the ways that people are being screwed. Okay? Most people are not going to go to page 10 of Google. They're just not. They don't have the patience, they don't have the time, and they definitely don't have the understanding of how fucked up this world is. They don't know. Yeah, sorry. I'm not really sorry, but you're more likely to stick it out if lights are on and you can actually see my face. Because it's so pretty, right? But turn my piano off. But yeah, most people don't have the wisdom about the ways of this world. So they don't know that doctors are here to poison us. They don't know, and that's not the way it's supposed to be either. That's not how it was. Back in the day, like before like pharmaceuticals took over, that's not how it was. It was totally holistic. Now if you're holistic, they call you a quack. Isn't that interesting? It just kind of proves that, like, you know, culture is key. So whatever people accept in the culture, like, they just go along with it. But anyway, my original point about technology and psychiatry is a form of technology because it's modifying your brain chemistry, and anything that does that is going to modify your behavior. So as long as that's allowed, cops shouldn't be able to search your vehicle for illegal drugs. Are you kidding me? This country is such a joke. Anyway, I talked about like being conservative. It's pretty cool that I can say that because there was a time when like you would just be completely ousted if you even mentioned any sort of conservative belief system. But you know, I was talking about how conservatives need to smoke a little bit of weed. Not too much weed, but just enough weed to stop trusting authority figures in uniform, okay? I mentioned cops. I was going to mention the military, but I was like, you know what? There are a lot of people, and there are a lot of cops too, a lot of good cops that don't want to be doing that on the side of the road, okay? And I've talked to a lot of them that don't want drugs to be illegal because it's just such a waste of their time. It's a waste of their time, it's a waste of their paperwork, and they could be doing way better shit, you know, like fighting actual crime. I'm sorry, but I knew that this rant was not going to be short. No, but it shouldn't be a crime to get high. Exactly. Especially when you can get high off of all this other stuff. Porn. I didn't even mention porn. It's like, there's so many different ways to get high that don't involve sniffing stuff and injecting stuff and drinking stuff and smoking stuff. It's just so stupid. And that's why, like, the more that I think about it, the more I truly hate politics. Like, with every fiber of my being, I hate politics. Because it's dividing in such a way that is like, I mean, everybody knows that. Everybody knows that, like, people can't have conversations the way that they used to because they're, like, politicizing everything. Now, like I've said before, it's technology. It's majorly because of technology. Because things have always been political and things have always been censored. It's just that the internet has brought that to our attention, you know, so. I think that with the internet, though, it exaggerates it. It makes it seem like, oh, this is so much worse than it used to be. But it's literally always been this way. It's just that now we're starting to notice it. But a lot of these conservatives, their rebuttal to all this is like to go online and say the N-word. And I'm like, well, that's cool that you're doing that, but is that changing anything? I think not. See, I'm all about doing something constructive, you know? I want to modify people's behavior. I don't want to just say something transgressive and feel like some kind of rebel badass when I'm addicted to my iPhone. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so depressing. Like, I don't care if liberal degenerates are addicted to their iPhone because that's expected. They go along with progress. They love the fuck out of progress. So it makes perfect sense for them to be addicted to their phones. It makes perfect sense for them to be hooked on psychiatric medication, you know? But if you're a conservative and you consider yourself to be a Christian and you're addicted to your iPhone, it's like, that is such a slap in the face to God. It really is. And I know that that's, like, really hard to take for a lot of people, but fuck you. Kill yourself, bitch. Kill yourself. Kill yourself, really, really and truly. I'm really serious when I say that I want to get the suicide rate up. No, you're not. Shut up. You just want people to think about it. Yeah. Think about it, feel like shit, and then change your behavior. If you don't commit suicide. But seriously though, like, it's so crazy to me that so many people don't commit suicide. But, like, what are they doing with their life? Like, absolutely nothing. They're just running around in circles, lying to themselves, saying that, oh yeah, we're going somewhere. Yeah, that's what a movement is, dude. Like, I'm part of a movement that's really gonna take this country somewhere. I hate to be that sad Sally. I hate to be that cynical Cindy. I think you should bring that back. I think that's a good joke. Dude, I did this whole bit where I just had all these, like, negative names. You know, it started with the whole negative Nancy thing, which I thought was, like, really stupid. Because that was definitely a thing that people repeated. I don't remember what year that was, but negative Nancy, Debbie Downer. Debbie Downer, that was like, that was an SNL sketch with Rachel Dratch, I think. Didn't they fire her? think so. Yeah, and then she started doing commercials for some, I don't know what, but so depressing. Yeah, SNL always fires like the really, really talented ones. They fired Norm Macdonald. They fired that, who's that other one, that Shane Gillis comedian or whatever. Is that his name? I don't know. For some stupid racist shit. And everybody knows that SNL's terrible now because it's so political, and it's just, everything's proving that it's all like, you know, the establishment. It's all the machine. Like, that's all they care about. But honestly, though, it's worse, I think, for, you know, people that say that they're opposed to that. So it's like all they're talking about is like, oh, that's wrong, that's stupid, faggot, faggot, faggot. You know, like, it's just, there's no challenge to that, man. Like, you're just saying stuff because you think it's offensive, but it's actually, what's offensive about it is that you think you're changing anything. What's offensive about it is that you think it's actually funny, but it's just a trope, you know? And I've seen it with comedy, you know, running around in circles, just, I'm not gonna change anybody's mind, but I'm gonna piss somebody off by saying a word over and over and over again. Oh, because I'm not supposed to say the word. Wow, I'm so transgressive. And none of these motherfuckers do stand-up comedy either. So they don't have to actually deal with those repercussions. When you go on the internet, it's a completely different thing than when you're like actually in a room full of people that you're trying to make laugh, or you're trying to make understand your perspective. You know, it's completely different going on the internet. And like that's the thing that people don't get about the internet and why it's such a dangerous thing. Because it's literally changing the way that people view themselves and reality in general. Not that reality means anything, but it's just so crazy that, like, I don't know, people have any kind of hope for the future. And it's just like they don't want to accept the fact that, like, everything's crap, so they have to, like, pretend that they're gonna, like, do something really amazing with the AI. Like, oh my goodness. It's just so depressing. I'm sorry, I think I've said that like at least 3 times already. But it's like technology is such like a major catalyst for, you know, society's laziness and society's apathy about everything. And so to go along with that is not only like totally suicidal, but it's just so insulting. It's so insulting to God. It's so insulting to real people that want to have real conversations that don't have to be filmed, dude. Like back in the day, you would go somewhere and perform, and I mean, this is still happening, but it's like so many people are on their phones, and it's such a challenge to try to make people pay attention. Like if they're ever so slightly bored, the phone immediately comes out. I saw it happen so many times tonight. And it's because they don't know what else to do. It's a compulsion. It's a compulsion. They don't even realize they're doing it. I saw Ronnit doing it during my damn set. Fucking bitch. She's not supportive! It's okay. We forgive. We have to forgive a lot, you know? But it's just... people don't see a way out of this. Like, they look at me like I'm such an idiot and I'm so, like, idealistic or whatever. I'm not idealistic. I just hope that I can change at least one person. You know? That's all I really care about. It's just that one person in the audience that desires to be a little bit more conscious of things. That's what I want. That's all I care about. I don't give a shit how many people call me crazy. I don't give a shit how many people disagree with me and think that I'm, like, really far-fetched and ridiculous. And listen, you don't have any right whatsoever to complain about what they're trying to do to us and what they've been doing to us if you go along with technology that they're using to enslave you. I can't wait for AI prostitutes. That's going to be great. AI prostitutes to suck off all of the voluntary cyborgs, okay? Because that's what society is now. They're just a bunch of cyborgs. They just stare at their phone and they don't give a shit about anything. They don't care if kids are raped. They don't care about that. They would be talking about the phones if they actually cared about trans stuff. Because all these people identifying that way, it's because of the phones. It's because of the culture. The culture of this totally degenerate, sexually charged, nihilistic society, okay? That is being pushed through the technology more than anything else. You can keep talking about education or politics. It's mainly through the phones. That is the vehicle. Crash the vehicle. But yeah, like I said, you have to be a fucking lunatic in order to see it. In order to really understand what the solutions are, you have to be a lunatic. Because I'm in the solutions business. I'm not in the fucking let's play the blame game business. I'm not in the let's just whine about the problems business, because that's all that people do. All that people are doing on podcasts is whining about the problems. All that people are doing on Twitter is whining about the problems. Like, if y'all had solutions... That's not true, though. You're only focusing on okay, Amy. There are plenty of people on Twitter and plenty of people on Facebook and YouTube. I mean, YouTube and Rumble, like, that are offering solutions. Plenty of podcasts that are doing that too. You're just focusing on the negative because you hate the internet. You know, you fucking have this bias. Yeah, I do have this bias. I fucking hate technology so much. I mean, you're right. You know that you're right about how bad this is. And I think that people are just looking at it more optimistically. Like, they're like, okay, well, if everybody's on the internet, like, I'm gonna get on the internet and I'm gonna, you know, do something positive on the internet. I'm gonna try to motivate people. I mean, that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. Fucking hypocrite, bitch. Don't you love the man in my head? I can take criticism. Okay, one of the few women in the world. But I'm just tired of seeing everybody looking down all the time. It's really depressing. And that's yet another time I talk about how depressing our society is. But yeah, I mean, that's what's making people depressed, though. So that's why I think that Twitter's a waste of time, but I guess there are positive uses for it, but we're Luddite.